It's not all that is maths. You feel confidence. You have confidence. There's something wrong. There's something. Brothers down south sent me a message. Anzinina me plumber. Ndakadaidzwa kunzi pane basa pana parikuda plumber. Ndobva ndamhanya. Saka ndasvika ndakutanga kuda ndiite basa rere. Pasvika munhu kuSouth Africa. Then they started asking me, where are you from? I said, I'm a Zimbabwean. She goes, can you leave that job you are doing? We've got South Africans who are qualified to do that job. Because I knew these guys are serious. They might wring my neck with a tire and set me alive. So I just left the job, took the equipment, and then left. Thank you so much. The issue why the Zimbabwe government utilizes state apparatus, state agencies as violent machinery. This is why you see Zimbabweans are dotted all over the world. It's not because tukuti zamare yekutadza kutenga chingwa. Taibika zvimodho wani. Taibika zvidhudhu. Pana vanhu vasina kumbodya chidhudhu here pana. Chidhudhu chinotonaka kupera chingwa. Chingwa chacho inini ndiri kumusha nasadya chingwa. Ndati mbuya akabika raiswerera nchidya. Taikama mukaka. Tibika tii. Mukaka wedu unobva mumombe tonobika tii tonwa tii hobvu. Waiti dzimwe kana musina shuga taisvinira nzimbe chaidzo kusvina nzimbe dziyadzi. Totoisa mutii. Takutonwa tii takuguta. Tasina nyama taingoenda unovhima zvinonzi shiri zvemo zviti chezvo zvihanga zvezvo. Taingotiya zvihanga zvezvo moisa chibage moita sei moisa chidhibhura. Morova 10 mobvura monobika makutozvika sadza. Tasina nzarawo. Chibage taingonorima kumunda toisa kuseru. Chogara mudura. Andi muri kuona. But pane zvimwe zvataishayawo. Mafuta taisvina tainosvinisa taiti karima masunflower. Totora masunflower toenda pa growth point. Tosvika tosvinirwa mafuta. Andimona. Chinhu zvataishaya zvinhu zvishomanini because food it was self-sustaining in our rural homes. But because there are certain things zvatinozodawo atodawo ka-TV mumba muzodiwawo kana kafoni muzodiwawo chi. That drove our children to go to South Africa. That was the first point. The second point that drove our children to leave our country, it was the violence that the state has been utilizing against the people of Zimbabwe. We are so hardworking. We can self-sustain. We can self-sustain Zimbabweans, but because we don't have a government that takes care of its citizens, this is the reason why we are dotted all over the world. We ran away from state violence. As good as tomorrow kune roadblocks around Benon, Dayton, Springs every Thursday. It's so sad. It's so sad. One of our former leaders has just sent a message from South Africa saying, guys, can you look for people who can assist me to leave South Africa? And I remember when we were in MDC, at one time he became a security officer in the part. He was in charge of security. And he ran away. He went to Zimbabwe. But he has sent an SOS message to say, look, we are in trouble here. I need to go home. But I've got no means of going home. Mugabe used to send buses when things are like that. Remember, the first xenophobia, Mugabe sent buses to ferry Zimbabweans. But today we have got more Zupco buses from Belarus, which we bought from our own money. The government can't send those buses as an SOS. I was talking to certain people who will say, how do we know that this is Zimbabwean, this is Mozambique, and this is Malawi? I said, it's very simple to identify a Zimbabwean. Because remember, my Jackson and Numba, when we were growing up, Zimbabweans nomba yavo inobayiwa panapa. So if you want to identify a Zimbabwean, if you look there, there is a mark in nomba that shows you this is a Zimbabwean. Mozambicans anobayiwa panapa. If you look at a Mozambican, look at his left arm. Ukaona panapa pemuputukezi panapa pane nomba havabayiwe apo. You can simply identify that this is a Moscan. South Africans ukada kuona nomba yavo yakaita taiona kujeri vakaita tumadododo tutatu kana 4, I can't remember how many mabodododo anobuda. You can identify that this is South African, this is Zimbabwean, this is a Mozambican. Unjan yapila atete elen injan mkuma ndikuda connection ema youth leadership ema Shingo province. I need to join. I will look for their contacts. It's easy. I will look for their contacts to connect on. So a lot of things have been happening, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why I am saying, rather than fighting the South Africans on their background, this is their country. This is their country. I was just talking to a friend from South Africa recently when I was saying, you know, you cause us to say you are brood of vipers because the way you kill Zimbabweans, I've never seen such brutality. If we ran away from a government that utilizes state agencies to kill innocent civilians, then we go to South Africa, you are killed for not holding a passport. For not holding a passport. Guys, let's imagine that. You are burnt to death. You are bludgeoned on the streets of South Africa for not holding a passport. We don't control passport production. Passport production is controlled by the government. The government is failing to give us passports, and the people flee the country without passports. Do across borders, jump my border. The government would rather take buses. This is what is most painful. Even Botswana panobaya, Mozambique, yes. So you find that it's so painful that the ZANU-PF is using those buses to ferry ZANU-PF supporters from all over the country to go for rallies. Things that we have seen for the past 43 years, rallies, that doesn't bring anything to the country. Our children, Zimbabweans, are being bludgeoned in South Africa, being killed on a daily basis. The government cannot send those buses to go and ferry Zimbabweans who are suffering, who are struggling. A lot of Zimbabweans are crying. I was talking to certain Zimbabwean people. They said, oh, these people need to be vetted because we don't want people who can come back and cause chaos. Imagine, ZANU-PF supporters are barring Zimbabweans to return home. Chico, Wellington, how can you do that? Because the first thing a government does is to save life. Send those buses down South Africa. Those who want to go home can get ride and then go back home. If you want to vet them, that will be done after you have saved their lives. Because you cannot leave a Zimbabwean dying. Because that Zimbabwean is rascal or radical or whatever. That Zimbabwean is a political activist. You can't leave that person dying in South Africa because he's a political activist, so you don't need that person in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is not a country that belongs to ZANU-PF. It's a country that belongs to the people of Zimbabwe. And every Zimbabwean must be home. So you will find what I'm saying here, ladies and gentlemen. It's pathetic that we have got a government that is talking about vetting Zimbabweans to try and give them assistance. We have got, in Pretoria, we have got a Zimbabwe embassy that hasn't been doing anything. That hasn't even issued a statement on the death of Zimbabweans in South Africa. All of a sudden, South Africans, amongst all African countries, decided to uprise to do xenophobia against their neighbors, the people of Zimbabwe. You know, you still remember in 1986, when the ANC offices in Avonde were bombed by the apartheid South Africa. And Zimbabwe suffered bombings. Zimbabwe suffered assassinations. On those bombings, some people died. Zimbabwe sustained ANC offices in its soil. Today, ANC is sending people to kill Zimbabweans. Imagine Ramaphosa sending South Africans to kill Zimbabweans. ANC offices were bombed in Bulawayo. In Harare, we lost quite a number of people in Harare. You were 13 minutes already, manja, and now to put a drawer and now roll a drawer at the Teresa. In that no, I'm going to go on, but I got a table. That got a table, got to man out regarding the battle in Zimbabwe. So I'm looking for quite a number of audience here, guys. 72 people in that Tanga, but we need. The more we come, the more we share the videos, the more we reach rural people and so forth. So I am saddened that all of a sudden the ANC that led to the bombings in Zimbabwe, where Dambudzo Marechera's sister was killed, a lot of Zimbabweans lost their lives whilst apartheid South Africa was busy bombing Zimbabwe. Because we harbored those ANC guerrillas, we were even in Zambia. We were coexisting with. We used to share same offices with the South African ANC, which is killing us today. Thank you, Ashi. Which is killing Zimbabwe today. Anzi murise ngoma tave kutoda zvedu chamisa aitungamirire mabaz zanu definitely. So I am not sure. What Zimbabweans can do to make sure that those who want to be home, who wants to be safe, now they are going to do some. They are going to do some roadblocks to try and flush out Zimbabweans. Right? The South Africans are going door to door, asking those South Africans who took Zimbabweans as lodgers to throw them out. Companies are urged to throw Zimbabweans out. At the end, you find the Zimbabweans all over the streets. Look at how Durban, KwaZulu-Natal there, how the floods are. You have got kids outside. Your things will be washed away by those floods. That means if you've spent 10 years in South Africa, it's 10 years for nothing. You haven't worked for anything. You're going home empty-handed. And those properties that you bought in South Africa, you can't take them away. You can't take them home. You see, you've got no transport. You've got nothing to transport those things back home. So things are very difficult for the Zimbabweans in South Africa. Companies throwing them out, landlords throwing them out, South Africans bludgeoning them on the streets. I don't know. I don't know. Whether ndimbuya nanda wakagumbuka sezvo ZANU-PF chese chainotaura nesambuya nanda mukati. And the ZANU-PF, South Africans are saying Zimbabweans, they summoned Motlane to come and and investigate what the cause of violence. And Motlane recommended to them, do this, do that. If they had done that, now Zimbabwe would be a better country to live. So you don't want to implement peaceful means of survival, of coexisting on your political party. So go home. This is what South Africans are saying. I was talking to another South African guy who said, guys, the problem with the Zimbabweans is when you go out in South Africa, my brother, in Borovaika song, Kayakanoti, Vanakupe Nana Munzo. What let me find out if I can readily get that song, because zvinhu zvacho so varume zviri kurwadza, ndokunonzi kubayiwa pangonyangara. vamwe taitoti vamwe vamuna South Africa, vamwe tamuna UK, vamwe takuita sei. Tinokwanisa kushanda tichiita sei tichibatsirana nevanhu vari kumba. But now things have gone out, guys. I don't know kuti handisi kukaona nekukasira kasonga kacho aka hakasi kuonekwa nekukasira tete. Regai ndizokatsvaga kanenge kari kachana I can't see it nekukasira boss. Zvai zviri kufamba handi makwana mamessages aipinda mufoni mangu nezuro unototi mari ndinopedza rini kumaverenga, but tikakawana tinobva takatsemura. Let's go. Ndakawana regai ndimboka rova vanhu vambokateerera.
Dzose dzisati dzaziva ine shoko guru randinoda kuudza Chamisa wavene bato itra irida norakatowa mushure meku paone kwaku sitare MDC rakangera zvibiswa nemandu monzora kwamichina nakupene vamwe saka kana mave kuzoenda kunovhota munofanira kucherekedza kwazvo chiso chachamisa nemasi matatu pamwe neruvara rwemabara. Voterai pamasi matatu, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai paruvara rwemabanana, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai pamasi matatu, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai paruvara rwemabanana. Musanyengetwa nebatorezano, muchipiwa mbeu nevhoteza. Tinoda bato rinoudza mabasa kuti mugozvitengera mega zvamunoda. Matorezano rauraya nyika, muzere mbavha dzinoba zvikuru, vanonga zvifunga ivo vega. Momo yenyika ichikangawaya, kana vomuya kwamuri vanonyepa kuti masanction auraya nyika. Nyamba variwo vanouraya nyika nekuda kweuori hwavanoita. Votera Nelson Chamisa, voterai pamasi matatu, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai paruvara rwemabanana, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai pamasi matatu, voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai paruvara rwemabanana.
Hanzi voterai Nelson Chamisa, voterai paruvara rwemabanana. Mike zviri sei? Ngoma Erasmus ngauti hanzi ndatapirirwa nekasonga. Hanzi kakarwana Caxman naye mupana wechidiki. Saka aiwa tinofanirwa kumutenda mupana nekasonga kari so beautiful, kekuti pese patinokanzwa tinenge tichiziva kuti pane zvinenge zvaakuda kuita sei. zviri kuitika. Saka let's go guys, timbotaura nyaya yandaishitaura panapa. Inyaya yakanaka, nyaya yekuti why Zimbabwe. Can I come in? Pindai Amatunde. Why Zimbabwe? Why Zimbabwe? Why are we being victims? If you go to South Africa, we are victims. You go to the United Kingdom, we are deported. You go to Botswana, this no sungwa. Tapinda Malawi, Zambia. Why Zimbabweans? Why? I don't understand. The song is hope. Yes, we definitely have hope. But the status, does Zimbabwe enjoy monopoly of coercive power in its hands? Zimbabwe is a country that uses coercive power, and they have monopoly of those coercive power in their hands. Are they supposed to continue to use coercive power against the people of Zimbabwe? We definitely have a useless government that cannot even voice when its citizens are being butchered. We've got a government that can only voice when black people are being killed in America by Americans. But when Zimbabweans are being killed in South Africa by South Africans, this government does not voice at all. Boni Baba Pipi, Cheyuda, Wanzi Baba Pipi, Trimagwaro, Yuda, Tinoshka Kufa. But we are dying, Ngoma Onwell. We are dying in South Africa. We are dying in the UK. We are dying in Botswana and Mozambique. We are dying. You are dying in Zambia. If you go to South Africa, we die in a brutal way. Most of us are being shot. Most of us are being bludgeoned on the streets, set alight. You know why? What pains me most is those people who are being killed in South Africa, they are being killed for not possessing a passport. If you go to Zimbabwe, you don't own passport production. The government produces passports, but the government restricts every Zimbabwean to get a passport. You want to go look for a job elsewhere. You meet South Africans, they ask you, where is your passport? You say, I don't have a passport. Then you are killed. So sad. What's happening to Zimbabwe is heartbreaking, ladies and gentlemen. We are being killed by Africans in South Africa. Our government wrote a letter condemning American embassy and Americans for killing George Floyd. They never wrote a letter condemning South Africans for killing Zimbabweans. The people, the ZANU-PF youth, they wrote to their government to say they want to go and make a toy at Zimbabwe, Harare, American embassy in Harare. But they failed to go and toy at South African embassy in South Africa. So what I'm doing is, for the next 2-3 weeks, I'm going to mobilize Zimbabweans, especially those on Veranda Paveju, or those Zimbabweans in the United Kingdom. If we don't show solidarity with our murdered brother at the South African embassy, that means we are doing nothing. Even here in the United Kingdom, Zimbabweans, we must go at South African embassy. Let's lead by example. Those Varuma office, let's meet at South African embassy, and we need to protest at South African embassy. If it means Saturday, Sunday, no matter how many days we need to take Mbowen's videos and play them at South African embassy. We need to show them that this is how Elvis Nyati was killed by South Africans, bludgeoned on the streets, set alight alive here in the United Kingdom. The world must know that the people harbored in South African embassy, they are the same people who are killing Zimbabweans back in Zimbabwe. We must demonstrate at the South African embassy in the United Kingdom. Those in America must do the same. Go to South African embassy and demonstrate against South Africa. Because we need to show solidarity with our mediated brothers. We need to show the world that, look, these people, we go to them. If you come to the UK, you find South Africans here. You go to America, you find South Africans there. They are never killed for being in America, never killed for being in the United Kingdom. They are not even killed for being in Zimbabwe. But they are killing Zimbabweans for being in South Africa. And we don't know for what reason. Zvinhu zvinorwadza kugwanata, zvinhu zvinorwadza. Hatina kuita magwara ekuti tinopiswa mataimu, todirwa petrol, topiswa uchipwanyiwa musoro, ukabvunza chawaurayirwa, unza una passport. Inini, I don't produce passports. If I go to Zimbabwe embassy or if I go to registrar, I need a passport. It will take 6 months kubuda, 7 months kubuda. A passport document for 2 weeks or 3 weeks is taking 7 months in Zimbabwe. 1 year munasina passport. Tineva vanhu vari Zimbabwe vakata 2-3 years vakamirira passport abhadhara. Oenda South Africa ubvanzi tione passport. Someone demanding your passport in South Africa is not a policeman. Is not an immigration officer. Upongwi zvake asina pende, ane pende yakabvaruka. Who is coming to you asking you for a passport? Atete bete, zviri sei. Any South African. Zvafana zviri South Africa zvinofudza mombe zvimbavha zvezvi. Zvinopfeka heti pasaida. Who will come and ask you for a passport. You ask him, are you an immigration officer? No. Are you a policeman? No. What do you need my passport for? Before you finish that sentence, you are bludgeoned, you are stabbed, you are shot. And problem, we are divided on political grounds. We have got a government that is behaving like South Africans, killing Zimbabweans in Zimbabwe. If you see the bodies of those who were murdered in Zimbabwe, it is just the same way people are being bludgeoned by South Africans. Saka kubatana kwacho kunonetsa, atingakwanisi kubatana neZANU-PF. Azviite. If you guys, I always tell you guys here that if you saw the bodies of Kaini Nyeve, Beta Chokururama, and Godfrey Kauzan, Tondera Indira, if you saw those bodies, they had eyes poked off sockets, they had tongues cut, they had their private parts removed, and they were killed by ZANU-PF people. They were killed by ZANU-PF people. Some don't even have money to apply for passports, yes. We are divided because we have got people who follow ZANU-PF. If we had people who do not follow ZANU-PF, we wouldn't be divided, guys. And Africa has got a problem. The problem with Africa is because of greediness. Greediness. We have got greed Africans who think Zimbabwe is their only property. Who thinks that a government is their only property. Exactly, Smomo. You can't be one thing with the people like Monzora, the people like Kupe Tokozani Kupe, Douglas Monzora. We can't be one people with those people. So atukwanise kuita chinhu chimwe chete, atukwanise kubatana. Give you zviri sei, atukwanise kubatana, guys. Because what I'm saying here is ZANU-PF government is exercising the power of cohesion using its state agencies. This is why you see the people of Zimbabwe, they run away. They use police to bludgeon people in town. They use police to arrest opposition politicians. They use police to disperse even a peaceful demonstration. That is Zimbabwe government. They use the army. They deploy armed soldiers with live ammunition in the CBD to shoot innocent civilians who are protesting. People who are demanding money, who are demanding food, people who are demanding jobs. the Zimbabwe government set soldiers against them and order them to shoot and kill those people. And that government does not even take action. If you see a government that does not take action against the soldiers who kill civilians, that means those people, those soldiers have been given the green light by those people to go and shoot and kill innocent civilians. So we have got a government that utilizes state agencies to destroy Zimbabweans. A good example, we've got prisons. If you do anything, Makomborero spent 2-3 years in prison for no crime committed. We have got Vana Mnangagwa. They spent 10 years in prison for no crime committed. So we have got a government that uses all these state agents like prison, police to make sure that they silence the dissenting voices, sending people 10 years to prison for no crime committed at all. And they are stealing. They are stealing. That's true. And they use the courts. They also use the courts. It's so sad. I was reading an article here. It's so sad. I was reading an article that Mary Chwenga has been convicted as for marriage act what. And didn't want. So the state uses courts. Ukasungwa, ukaenda court. Sorry guys. But all the judges what to say, what to talk, how the judgment should come out. They can't even take people or comment panyaya kufa kwemzimba in South Africa, even it was the problem. That's exactly what I'm saying. We've got a government that does not even comment on the murder of its citizens by South Africans. But they've got guts to challenge Americans to say, look, one American, a black American, was killed in America. Then the state, then Zimbabwe as a government would condemn Americans for killing one black man in America. They don't condemn South African government for killing many black people in South Africa. It's not only Elvis Nyat who was murdered. If we give all the names of Zimbabweans murdered, a good example, Valkaroi. I know about 10 guys from my neighborhood, Karoi, who were murdered in South Africa by black South Africans. Adzimaiva flows really say mapinda amai mwana baba mwana varohwa nemunikwi. Kutiraya kuti zviende nemvura. The human body is a machine that requires diesel or petrol. Mvura ndo petrol yedu. Mchanga commented but was way off target. He blamed Triple C and Whites instead. Why is SADC and AU quiet on this matter? SADC and AU are failed clubs at Tete Road. I've always said that SADC must be disbanded and replaced by something else. Africa Union must be disbanded and replaced by something else. Because look at ECOWAS. When Gambian president was defeated, ECOWAS, they went to remove, to make sure that that Gambian idiot won't come back. You see, they safeguarded the people's will, and Gambia had a change of government. And he looks smart today, and as Samsha, thank you, my man. ndanonoka kusvika ndosaka maona ndangochena kudai ndikakumbaya ndikati regai titandare nevanhu because nhasi I'm not taking long. I'm here for a short period of time. Ndobva ndaenda macommitments acho awandisa. I've got to make my lesson plans right now. Tomorrow ndine malessons anoda kunyatsorevisa kuti kana uri pamberi pevana vechikoro haubwabwaike nai. We have to go back and vote, guys. Hatigare ndiri kusuwa zvikuru. If you go to South Africa today, Zimbabweans are chucked out of their lodgings, so they are strewn outside. Companies are refusing to employ them. So you've got no job, you've got no food, you've got no accommodation. You live on the streets. And in those streets, these mobs are coming, burning you alive. Imagine those mobs plus a natural disaster. South Africa is flooded. Vanhu vakakandwa panze vaiva nhasi zvinhu zvanaiwa zvatakurwa nemvura. Unenge wakagara watarisa sofa rako richienda, wardrobe yako ichienda, TV ichienda. You can't save those things. You can't save them. There are floods in South Africa. Even cars are going. And more. That means even your documents, kana usina pakamaisa kana pakanaka kuti muri water resistant, they are all gone. And you have got children. You are staying outside. Your government, Zimbabwe government, can't send buses there to ferry those people back home. Then some people want to eat deep. We are talking of a disaster in South Africa. And anymore. Those munguwa pamunozoona ndichitaura kuti dai Mwari vainditendera vambondipa Zimbabwe ndamboitonga. Ndomboita president weZimbabwe just 5 years. Noda kuti muone kuti nyika inochinja sei. Dai Mwari vanditendera. Saka dambudziko rinozoitika nderekuti Mwari vakabva vandipa president Nelson Chamisa. And I've assessed, ukaona munhu andosapota inini musadherera. Ina handingoteere munhu. Ukaona munhu andoteera inini kuti I'm supporting Morgan Tsvangirai, I'm supporting Nelson Chamisa. Pakaenda vana Mudhara Gibson Sibanda, handina kuteera vana Sibanda. Nekuti ndaitoona zviri kumberi kuti hakuna chiriko chinobudawo. Kwakaya Monzora aiti ndini president weMDC, hauzviti ndini. Ndakakuudzai ndikati ukunana Monzora kwakuna chinobudawo. Ukaona pandotsika inini gumbo rangu tsikaiwe ipapo. Ukaona leader wandinofollowa inini tsikai ipapo. I don't just praise a leader. I don't. Vanhu vanonyatsondiziva vanabita vanatendai biti vanokuudzai vanabiti kuti that guy does not even praise somebody. I am the only MDC. I was the only MDC supporter akachallenge Morgan Tsvangirai. Kwete zvekumuchallenge kuti kuenda kucourt, but takagara face to face taura naMudhara Morgan. I challenged Mudhara Morgan. Zvoda kapesera aseka azunguza musoro akati hey, tine basa nana Yuda. Ukabvunza vanhu vaive kuHarare East, patakaita meeting kuna 5 Avenue, corner 5 na 4th, president vakagara apa, Dita akagara apa, Mbao akagara apa, Mudhara Maposa akagara apa, vana Peter Mudavano vakagara apa, vana Fisher vakagara apa. Ini ndiri organizing secretary ndakagara apa ndakatarisana naTsvangirai. Ndichimutaurira Mudhara facts point after point. Andimona. Nhasi kana kuHarare East vakomana vari kutaura kuti ndiye chete the only person uyu akagona kuchallenge Mudhara Tsvangirai. Kusvika taita concede. Kusvika Mudhara aita concede to what I was demanding on that day. Andimuri kuona. This is why you see Mudhara Mbao, Timothy Mbao, he feels very free to talk to me. Tendai Biti is very free to talk to me. Vana Montelo vaitaura nini, vana Msamdzimu vaitaura nini. Because vaiziva kuti uyu munhu haarovembwa akavega mupini. Anoisa mafacts ake pachena mukuaramega. Ndosaka mura ndichitaura kuti when I am following Nelson Chamisa, I don't just follow a leader because he's popular. No. I look at certain traits of a leader. And then I will set my foot there and say, right, the right person to follow is Nelson Chamisa. When Mugabe vaivepo, I never followed Mugabe because I knew that he is taking Zimbabwe nowhere. When Ngwena vakauya, I never followed them because I knew they are taking Zimbabwe nowhere. And and we are having plenty of roadblocks here in Cape Town. Police are fishing out foreigners driving Uber and Bolt. Things are tough in South Africa. And anymore. Saka, when South Africans are doing that to Zimbabweans, the Zimbabwe government in Zimbabwe is using coercive power, utilizing the police, utilizing prisons, utilizing the army, utilizing the CIOs, utilizing the youth militias to use coercive power. All these people are like state agencies. And so they are utilizing all these people to punish Zimbabweans. We are being punished. I don't know for what reason. ZANU-PF government wants us to obey its orders, and the orders are illegal. We cannot obey illegal orders. These are just greed politicians who are hiding behind the army, behind the police, behind the prisons, behind the CIOs, to try and force us, to coerce us, to obey illegal orders. And we are saying no to the illegal orders. We are saying no to the illegal orders because we are not disturbing peace and order in our country. We are a political party that wants to be voted into power. And all political parties are equal. ZANU-PF is not even above another political party. This is why you see, if we go for an election, ZANU-PF always lose. So when they perceive or when they look at us, they must look at us as an alternative political party, as an alternative government, a government in waiting. We are ready to govern. I don't want to lie. The Triple C is ready to govern. Even if we are thrust in today as the government of Zimbabwe, we are going to change the lives of people. Chimbondipaiwo masimbaya nimbotonga Zimbabwe, nimboitonga mbichana vanhu vambonyatsoona kuti chii chinonzi nyika inotongwa sei. As they telling the world the truth about Zimbabwe situation. I don't think he is back in Zimbabwe at the moment. Wopochingono is not back in Zimbabwe at the moment. Because you see, ZANU-PF went there, switched off lights, electricity at Harare International Airport. They were waiting for him. They thought he was landing. He's not there. I don't think he has landed in Zimbabwe yet. The Zimbabwe army be born again. Honestly, guys, what I'm looking at, if I become leader of Zimbabwe, I want to professionalize the army. I want to professionalize the police. I want to professionalize the prison. If you look at other countries that we have visited, if you come to the UK, a good example, you won't think that this country has got soldiers. You will never see soldiers on the streets. You don't see armed soldiers walking on the streets. You rarely find the soldiers wearing uniform on the streets in this country. You rarely find them. You rarely find the policemen holding firearms. You rarely find them. When there is need of firearms, they've got reactionary forces that can react to go and deal with anything that requires firearms. There is definitely there is a vacant. The president's office, there is a vacant there. We don't have a president. We have got a thug as a president. Uganza slogan, you know, that, oh, this is a thug. We don't have a president in our country. So we need a president in Zimbabwe. This is why you see, I am saying, if God permits or allows me, I would definitely want to be president of that country. Because the office is empty. But God has given us a leader in form of President Nelson Chamisa, a capable leader for that matter, who has got a track record of success in everything that he's done in life. If you see ZANU-PF today, Chamisa has never been the president of that country. He wants us to vote for him to be president of that country. So look at what ZANU-PF people are telling you. This is Chamisa's house. This is Chamisa's business. This is Chamisa's this and that at his age. So it shows that he is a successful man. If you have such a successful man with ideas of building such a house, ideas of running such a business, ideas of being successful on his personal life, I don't think we need to throw that type of person away. And ZANU-PF iri kufunga kuti iri kumudestroy by showing us a house to say this is Chamisa's mansion. If he can build a mansion without dipping into state coffers, so that is the president that we want in our country. Zambia has got a similar president who has gone for 8 months now without state salary. Anzi Maria ndofanwa kuura shisai muvanhu vasina mari dzokuenda kuchikoro vana vadzidze mahara. This is a national duty. I mustn't be paid undaita a national duty. Those are the type of leaders we are looking for. I don't know why they want to punish Hopo Chingono for. I don't know. So I understand Hopo Chingono is issued or is tweeted that he's safe and so forth. I don't think he's in Zimbabwe at the moment, but they were waiting for him. They thought he could land there and they wanted to impound him. You understand? So, as a political part, Triple C is not disobeying the law and order of Zimbabwe. It is just a political part that they apply to the police. We want to hold a rally here. And the police is the one that is restricting them, being used as a coercive force by Zimbabwe government. And they deny a Triple C to hold a rally. As Nas, don't sing Dora because you are smart today. Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much. The state, Zimbabwe government, this is when I say the state, I refer to Zimbabwe government, or I mean Zimbabwe government. The state claims authority to rule, or the state claims authority to run a country, and that authority, Zimbabwe government is deriving that authority from its state agencies. By when they are ruling us, they are using illegal sanctions against us. We did not commit a crime. To be born in Zimbabwe is not a criminal offense. We never committed a crime by being born in Zimbabwe. But the state is punishing you, is punishing me for being Zimbabweans. And Saga, they used popular sanctions against us. They used coercive sanctions against Zimbabweans. They send us to prison. They kill us. The government is killing us for no apparent reason. If you ask the government what is Itai Dzamara committed to deserve disappearing from this world, the government does not have an answer. So when a government exercises such powers, utilizing illegal sanctions against the people of its country, issuing illegal orders to the police and the army to say go shoot and kill these people, then we don't have a government. That means if we don't have a government, there is no head of state. Zimbabwe's president is a vacant post that needs someone to fill it. The people of Zimbabwe, including the army, police, CIOs, prisons, and so forth, they are crying that they need a president. They need a leader. They don't have a leader. They don't have a president. This is why you see, even Ugaenda Kumakembe, where these people live, ZANU-PF has lost elections. And I'm so saddened. I've received a list of Bulawayo policemen who are being victimized, being transferred from one political station to another. Assistant inspectors have been reshuffled in Bulawayo kunana Magwego, my police stations. Vachiendeswa kuma rural, vachiendeswa kupi, because they never voted ZANU-PF or they refused to vote ZANU-PF. Why are they losing in those armed forces camps? It's because those people do not trust them at all. Even those people who guard Mnangagwa, they don't trust him. They don't vote him. So ZANU-PF is just a terror group, a terrorist group that is being led by a gangster who does not care about how Zimbabweans live, who uses these coercive powers just to sanction people. Who uses illegal laws to sanction Zimbabweans. A gangster. Anongomuka achingotaura nhasi izvi ndo zvandiri kuda, izvi handizvidi. Andimona kuita Zimbabwe kuita ngetoilet yekuti paanofunga kudhota anongovhura dhoo opinda kudhota obuda oenda. Hapana anomubvunza kuti ndarasi musina kuflasha panapa. And I watched an interview of Sifosam Malunga uttering same statements of armed police or killing civilians. Yes. It's so sad, Skumile. It's so sad. What we need as Zimbabweans, we need a government that has got an ability to secure compliance of its orders without using coercive power. We need a leader who understands the situation Zimbabweans are facing so that he can stop. We need a leader who can stop using coercive power to force compliance of illegal orders. We don't want illegal orders. This is why you see Zimbabweans uprise, Zimbabweans protest. Because once illegal orders take center stage, we are not going to comply against those illegal orders. We are going to resist them. This is why I'm urging Zimbabweans that this is the time to resist those illegal orders as we march towards 2023 elections. If we don't resist those illegal orders, that means we will continue to flock South Africa, and roadblocks don't stop in South Africa. Those who burn us with tires, they won't stop burning us. Because when they look at us, they blame us. You don't have a passport. They blame us. Why are you running away from your country? They blame us. So it's all up to you, ladies and gentlemen. Those in South Africa, property yenyu iri kutakurwa nemvura iri kuenda, madocuments ese ari kunuya losing, unenge une vana panze uchinaiwa nemvura, mafloods akazara, unorara pai? Ekwa kusina mafloods waiti unorara pasi pemuti. Pasi pemuti pacho kaparara vanouya maSouth Africans usiku nevana vako moiswa matayi motemwa mopiswa. So you find that the only solution is to go back home. And when you go back home, you are going to face a government which utilizes a coercive power to say, obey what we want you to obey, comply with what we want. Whilst we all know that we can't comply with illegal orders. So what do we need to do? We have got a chance. We have got a chance in Zimbabwe. We have got a chance. Our perhaps last chance in life. 2023. If you don't vote for President Nelson Chamisa 2023, you are done. Wakutoziva kuti wakutofosina chaunacho. Vazhinji vedu takaenda mumhiri kwegungwa, hatina chatakawana, kuna chatakanoita. Vaindiseka vanhu vaiti, hey, uri kuunganidza madegree, hey, uri kuunganidza chii, ndikati at least ndikabva panapa kana ndikatiza kuenda neimwe nyika, I can go still tell them I'm a qualified nurse. I'm a qualified forensic scientist. I'm a qualified teacher. If I go anywhere where they want teachers, I'll go and teach. If I go anywhere where they want nurses, I can go and work as a nurse. If I go anywhere where they want forensic scientists, I can go lab technicians. I can go there and work as a lab technician. And vamwe vaindiseka vachiunganidza motikari muSouth Africa. Vazhinji vachiti haana zvaari kuita kuUK. Vamwe vachinditadza haana mubhedha wokurarira. Ndikati mubhedha ndonhonga muroad kana ndichiuda. But what I possess in my brains, nobody can take that away. Vanogona kutora zvinhu zvavo zvonopwanya zvimotikari zvavo unoisa kumascrapyard wopwanya wondidzinga muno. But kwandiri kuenda ndakabata mapepa ekuziva kuti ndokwanisa kusvika pano gogweni ndoda kubasa pano. Ndokwanisa kudzidzisira vana venyu maths. Ndinokupa so much. Mune lab muri kuda kuita mulaboratory menyu ndokwanisa kushanda mulab menyu. Pinda apo shanda apo. Mune varwere mune chipatara ndokwanisa kubayawo majekiseni nekupawo nekuverengawo zvanyorwa nachiremba nchipa mushonga unonzi pinda panapa. This is the last chance, exactly. The last chance for Zimbabweans is 2023. Nyaya yekutya kufa inofanira kupera. Mukomakosi zviri sei. Nyaya yekutya ndo yandiri kutaura panapa. Inofanira kupera. But haipere kana uri kuforeign land. Because vekuSouth Africa vacho havasi mapurisa vari kutiuraya. Havasi masoja eSouth Africa vari kutiuraya. Imbombera mob inenge vana Mnangagwa iri kutiuraya. Saka tikasatya kufa tichiurohwa nevanhu mamob. Munhu waunoona yedu doro chaiyo. Nasi will team up with other South Africans and blush on you to death. Andimona. Ukauya kuZimbabwe turohwa nemamilishia tichiurawa chipisirwa dzimba nevanhu vane mamatches. Greed idiots with matches. Saka zviri nani kuti tirege kusvika kufa tiri munyika medu. Bozi ukafira South Africa kwacho vamwe vanhu tunotadza kuretrieve mabodies. Ndachema our former security officer kuMDC tichiri kuMDC asenda in SOS. Guys, kana pane vanogona kundibatsirawo ndikwanise kuenda kumusha. Kana pane ane tsitsi anoda kundibatsira ndikwanise kuenda kumusha. Zvinhu zvinorwadza guys. And ukada kuona what is causing all this. What is causing all this? These are all results of bad governance in our country. My results ekutadza kutonga kwevamwe vanhu 43 years vachitadza kutonga nyika. So the results we are now getting the results of bad governance. 43 years of bad governance. These are the results that we are seeing. People being killed in South Africa. If you go to Zimbabwe, unenge wakamirwa nemasoja, mapurisa nemagadi nejeri rakakumirira. Ande murikona. Makosi anenge akakumirira, maCIO akakumirira. Kana uchinge wadzokera kumusha. Kana uri muSouth Africa, induku dzinenge dzakakumirira, matai nedizili zvakakumirira kuti upiswe utsve ufe. Tiri kuita ngefodya mutsanga. Uku wakarumwa uku hakuna kwaunoenda. Uku wakabatidzwa dede. Uri kubhemewa. Uri kupera. Tiri kupera. Makore ari kufamba. Our victory is being delayed. Vanhu vakaita sana Munzora Munzora nana Kupe. People who have delayed our victory for the past 22 years. People vana Obet Gutu, vanhu vataipa zvigaro, but who were delaying our struggle. Today we are still talking of removing ZANU-PF, which we should have removed in 2002. Kuchakudumbu nekumusana ndokwatiri kuita, guys. So all these are the results of bad governance. Atina hurumende munyika medu. These are the results of wrong and oppressive government, which create resentment in the mind of the people. And the people, when the people rise up, they are violently crushed. ZANU-PF. And ZANU-PF, for the past 42 years, they crafted wrong policies that resulted in what we are witnessing today. We cannot challenge their wrong policies. They will use the security agencies against us. They will kill us. And when we say wrong policies or bad policies or bad governance, we are talking of a group of thugs like those we see being headed by Emerson Mnangagwa. And these thugs, they sit down and plot excessive taxation on you. Pamsoro, pema 2 gates, panenge bane 2% road tax. Munwese, wane washitora 2 cents per every dollar. Imagine, muno mu UK mune 68 million people. When I take 2p per every dollar, kana $100 momwe, 20 pounds in ngeri yangu. Kana 200 pounds momwe, 20 pounds in ngeri yangu. Sorry, 20p in ngeri yangu. And then 2%, 2 cents per dollar. Kana $2, 4 cents in the zangu. Kana $10 or 10 pounds, 20p in the yangu. Saka kana 100, sakuro what 20 pounds in the yangu. Very simple mathematics. So ugaruza Mario such amount of money if you lose it. Per every person. You will find that these are greed people. And when they do that, they go and hike prices of commodities. They hike prices of commodities. They hike prices of commodities. Kana wachinge hike ma prices ma commodities, kunenge kune tax futi koko. Chingwa chaunotenga utexwa, ukatenga mafuta utexwa, ukatenga. So you will see that Maria unoshanda 3/4 goes to the government. Unosara une quota muhomwe. Ya isingakuitire kana chi. So at the end, when you have some greedy people, they send my youth militias again. All sections of society. Like, I don't know why rural people keep voting ZANU-PF. As I mentioned yesterday, I was talking about the armed struggle yesterday. How the people of Zimbabwe suffered in the rural areas. But those people in the rural areas, apart vazhinji vacho muZimbabwe, takatotama ubva matown tichienda murural areas, vanhu vane dzimba mumatown. Hamene chichinochinja kuti kana wabuda mutown wakumusha ubva uvhotera ZANU-PF. Kusvika yakutonzi this is a rural party in our country. Haife yakawana mumatown haiwine. But when currently are people who moved away from towns, who went back home to rural areas. And I don't understand why they continue to vote ZANU-PF. Because if you go to rural areas, those are deliberately neglected areas. They were never developed by ZANU-PF. Hakuna tara, hakuna magezi. Vakamboya kuma 2000 wakati rural electrification atina kuna kwa yakaenda. Today, when they talk about parliament, yakavakwana ED Mnangagwa, no. That parliament was planned in 2013-14. Nana Mugabe. Nana kasikuwerawo. Kuti ivakwe. Ikatanga kuvakwa kudhara. Mnangagwa angozongouya chete panyanga ichivakwa kwakupedzisa. Saka they want to to get credit of things that they never did. And the problem is today we have got, they are rigging you in rural areas. We know rigging has been done. Regai nditaure ndichiti anzwa nekumaruzevha vamwe vacho vakafa brain plus kushaya dzidzo. Ndosaka muri kuona atitalisi ndichitaura kuti inini maqualifications andinawo. Ndakatanga kuita bookkeeping and accounting. Ndiri kuprison ndabva kutraining depot ndaenda kuchipinge ndabva kuchipinge ndaishanda muaccounts department reboard of management ndiri bookkeeper. Ndikabvapo ndikati with my bookkeeping knowledge chireka ndiite risk and loss control security management. Ndikanoita advanced diploma resecurity management. Kukasanganisira bookkeeping and accounting. Ukandipa mabooks of accounts akagara panapa ndotokubalansira mabooks of account ndobalansa ini. Ndogona kuenter matransactions, ndogona kucreate vana ledger ndocreate. Vana balance sheet vase ndinovaziva vaya. Vana bank reconciliation statement norova zvese zvazvo. Kana ndapedza basic accounts dzese dzendapedza ndozopa accountant verify ozononyora ma financial reports ekupedzesera aya. But zvimwe donkey work yese inoitwa maaccounts hapana chandoziva chasingazivi. Kuchengeta vana pet cash, what goes into there, kuzoisa kumabooks of accounts zvese zvendorova zve. I am a qualified bookkeeper. Ndakatoita level 4 Pitman accounting paSpaces College. I am a qualified bookkeeper. Ndagara panapa. Ndikabvapo ndikati why can't I just do security management? Ndonoshanda mumabank with my knowledge yebookkeeping. Ndobva security management. Kana pabhanga ndikadzokera kuZimbabwe hapana bhanga rinondinyima basa rasecurity manager. Ndinongosvika nizipinda pano basa iri mabhuku aya rovai basa mukoma. Itai macontingent plans ecompany. Kana zvadai tunoita sei? Kana disaster yakatiwira toda. Ko vanhu vakauya tikarobwa pana tunoita sei? I know everything. I know what to do. Andiona. Ndikabvapo ndapinda muUK. Ndakati no. Zvandakaita kuZimbabwe zvakakwana. I worked as an instructor, weapons instructor. Hauna pfuti diki yaunondipa yandotadza kuridza. Hapana pfuti yandisikazive dikidzi. Hapana. Ndakaridza zhinji dzacho dzese. Ndapinda muno muUK ndikati ndakuda something chekuti chiri scientific. I want something scientific chekuti pandosvika vanonzi ndo vakuru vanoita zveDNA yavo. Ndobva ndaenda bva ndanoverenga ndikaita degree forensic science, applied science and forensic investigation. Ndakutanga kuti applied science munhu andodzima pana. Ndikabvapo ndikaita masters. Ndikabvapo ndikanoita degree teaching kuti kana vana vekuzvikoro vachida kudzidziswa science dzacho ndonoticha. Vakada dzidziswa physics ndonodzidzisa physics. Vakada chemistry ndonovadzidzisa. Vakada maths ndinoticha idzi ndonovadzidzisa vana ivavo. Andibona. Saka you find kuti ndine zvandaizviitira izvozvo. Izvo zvizvi mukauya mukanditi munhu akuwara panapa chiremba wako wanyora madoctors ndonetsana nawo madoctors kuti mushonga wamanyora haushandi. Kana mushonga wamanyora ni side effects munhu yani akadai munhu anofa. I can utilize my forensic experience whilst doing nursing. Andimona. Saka ndine zvinhu zvokuti kana ndikamira panapa hazvisi material. You can't find those things. They are not material things. But there are things that are in my brains that I've fattened my brains with. Andimunzwa nyaya ndikutaura. Saka sachi munhu akaita seni kwanzi umwe anotodzima. Applied science vanodzima vanhu panapa. Vanodzima. Because ndikasvika panapa ndikati H2O pana ndodzima panapa. But kana ndikatanga ndikati H2O ndakutomwa. Ukabvunza munhu kuti H2O chi ndopanozo ndatomuratidza kuti ndo H2O iyi. My elements are 2 hydrogens room neoxygen zvakaita bond together to create what I'm drinking. ndeupa hydrogen yega ngati inofa asi ikablenda neoxygen ikacreata mvura ukamwa unopona ndeupa ndikakusa oxygen ipapapa yakawanda wega pfa oxygen unorova pasi handiti mona. If you don't know, you don't know. Kuarurwa havatoziva. So what I'm saying here is I'm trying to show people that we've got incompetent people running the country. When you are incompetent, this is why you do what we call misgovernance. Because you are incompetent. Vanhu vari muzano ezvinezvi vanhu vari incompetent. These are thieves who are just bent to steal the resources of a country. This is why you see they use excessive, tactless, they apply excessive, tactless use of force to put down even peaceful protests. The reason being they are incompetent. Saka mambodzana achitaura ndikati ndingatadza kuitonga here Zimbabwe. Can I be the president of that country? Because I've got competence that can assist in the running of that country. Pindai Mkoma Jacob. And Mona, those incompetent people, they used their misgovernance to impoverish Zimbabweans. Those greedy, incompetent people, they used their misgovernance to destroy our country. They destroyed our country. This is why you see we are being banned. Ngoma Tawanda Murugudi. Trikupiswa ku South Africa. Nevanhu vasingagona kunyora mazita avo. If you ask those people in South Africa, they ask you, are you a Zimbabwean? What? Yes. Are you the most educated people in this continent? What? Yes. Oh, what are you? You go back home and eat your education. Leave us because we are not educated. You come to this country to grab our jobs. Those jobs that require use of brains, you have grabbed all of them. And Saka Murugona, at the end, Zimbabweans, we suffer political violence in our country. When we go to South Africa, we suffer xenophobia. So that xenophobia, to me, is also political violence, because the opposition in South Africa are not supporting the killing of Zimbabweans. Only ANC is a political party that is supporting the killing of Zimbabweans, because Mnangagwa has told ANC kuti vanhu variko ikoko ndeve opposition vakatiza kuno, so kill them there. And Murugona. So if you see political violence, especially in South Africa, is as old as that nation. In Zimbabwe, political violence is as old as Zimbabwe as well. Those are true jail. But those forms of political violence, they began to feature significantly soon after 2018 elections in South Africa, where those people were trying to force those Zimbabweans who are there to run away from South Africa and go back to face an impoverished nation, a country destroyed by incompetence. ANC and ZANU are the same, definitely. So this is why you see ANC youth, that idiot who goes around say Dudula, Dudula. And the ZANU PF youth who are being led in Chigomo Church, they behave this system. They don't want to accept that they've got incompetent people running these countries. South Africa is under ANC, an incompetent government. Zimbabwe is under ZANU-PF, an incompetent political party government. So if you see those people who suffer from incompetence, they are the same people who perpetrate political violence against opponents. And their government won't provide security to the people of Zimbabwe. ANC government will never provide security to the people of Zimbabwe. After being butchered, the ANC has sent police on the streets to say, oh, go stop all those cars, those being driven by Zimbabweans, impound them, tell those Zimbabweans the jobs are over, and let the Zimbabweans go back home. Yes, this is why I am saying South Africa is incompetent. What we are facing today are results of even that weasel, Mbeki, who said in 2008 that there is no crisis in Zimbabwe when we were being butchered by ZANU-PF. But I also blame Zimbabweans that when Mbeki said that, we knew the truth, what was happening to us. We never took remedial treatment of Mbeki. We left everything to Tsvangirai to say, Tsvangirai, be the spokesman, be the actor, be this and that. And we overburdened the Tsvangirai to the extent that Tsvangirai was running in every office trying to knock sense into those people. What were the results? Tsvangirai was poisoned. And today, we just say a hero, a dead hero in Tsvangirai. Definitely could. We are not safe everywhere we go. Atati Alice, Anzi Dudula Sungirwa Nasneyaga para 2018. It's just formality because now the world is demanding. We have raised this with the UN, with everybody. So the ANC is trying to cover up. You just go to court and get a bail. After getting a bail, you go back to Dudula. He's not going anywhere, that gentleman. Believe me. He is a blue-eyed boy, what Ramaphosa. So you find that this is why you see even Ramaphosa cannot grant Zimbabwean security. He cannot, he is using those army. He is using the police against the people of Zimbabwe in South Africa. So if you look at that, General Jurise Ganyemba, Urise Monomai. So the problem we have is ANC is the one that is sponsoring Dudula. And its youth are just like ZANU-PF youth being sponsored by ZANU-PF or by the government to do all this violence. Saka Murgona, no Saka Mchona Zimbabweans, when they cry, Vanochemera Zuma. This is why you see Zimbabweans, when Zuma was jailed, Zimbabweans cried like babies that our father has been jailed. Zuma angasinga vumire all this nonsense. This is why you see Zuma was a stepfather to Zimbabweans. Zimbabweans today, if you meet a Zimbabwean in South Africa, talk to that Zimbabwean, he will tell you that we miss Zuma. Zuma was a father par excellence who made sure that Zimbabwean, this is during Zuma's era. This is why when a lot of Zimbabweans went to South Africa for jobs. That was Zuma's era. But Zuma used to protect Zimbabweans. He loved the Zimbabweans. So I don't before Zuma anam Zimbabwean iripa. Amen. And you know. So the violence being perpetrated by ZANU-PF in our country, in ANC, in Zimbabwe, it is working well for them because they are the ones sponsoring this violence. What they are just getting here is to keep, they're just keeping themselves in power by use of this violence. This is why I am saying it's political violence. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa. Because if it was xenophobia, even the opposition in South Africa would be killing us. The Malemas would be leading people to kill us. But it's because we are only being killed by ANC supporters, not EFF supporters, not what's this guy, Mamaime supporters. We are being killed by ANC supporters. If you go to Zimbabwe, you are killed by ZANU-PF supporters. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa, but I call it political violence. That means whatever ANC is doing to us, I don't know the reason why ANC is killing us. Because Dudula is ANC, has been sent by ANC to say flush out Zimbabweans. I don't know what we have committed to ANC. They are not safe. This is why I am saying, if possible, rather than Mnangagwa sending buses to collect Zimbabweans across the country for a political rally, why can't Mnangagwa send all those buses to go and pick up Zimbabweans? Because as I am talking right now, Zimbabweans are outside and there are floods in South Africa. Their property has been washed away by water. They've lost even documentation. Guys, I've seen children outside when it's flooding like this. South Africans cannot take them inside their homes because if you have got a house, you need rent. These guys are no longer working. They can't afford to pay rent. So they've got no roof over their head. United Nations is quiet. It's so pathetic. It's so painful. Look at those ZANU-PF. They've got mansions there. They're living in their mansions. Whilst those people they looted from are being thrown away from looters living large, home and abroad. Zvinofana kunoka sense into you and me that ZANU-PF must go. No matter what methods we are going to use to force ZANU-PF out, we want a government that is competent enough. We want a government that knows that this country belongs to Zimbabweans. It doesn't belong to a family. We want a government that does not harbor greed people. Those thieves, one was not gute mari. And in the morning, this is why you see, today I'm not even in a mood of being happy. I can't be happy when my people are suffering in South Africa. Zvinorwadza. I understand, Miriam. It's so painful. Even by cyclone, the South Africa had to send the army to assist us. Mnangagwa failed to send our soldiers to kufunura vanhu vakafusirwa vakaenda nemvura. And we have got incompetent people leading the government, masquerading as government, a gangster which is masquerading as a government for Zimbabwe. And so as Zimbabweans, we must demand that the ZANU-PF must step down, that Mnangagwa must step down, that these gangsters must leave our country alone. Because as you are seeing, when Mugabe left, we thought Mugabe was the only or had this violent nature, the way he was nurtured. We never thought that there is Mnangagwa who is introducing new dimensions of violence, which are worse than what we went through in the hands of Robert Mugabe. Mndara akatotakura masofa ndo chokwadi red carpet. If you tell the world that when there was Cyclone Idai in Nyanga, the president of Zimbabwe utilized a helicopter to carry sofas to go and sit comfortably on top of dead bodies. And he had a red carpet that was laid for him to walk towards a place where dead bodies were buried underneath. If you say that to the world, they will think you are lying. Guys, keep this video for the next generation, 1,000 years to come. People should understand, or those people who will be there when we are long gone, must understand that we had a president at one time in Zimbabwe who attended a Cyclone Idai scene and carried sofas, carried the sofas to go there with the sofa. A helicopter flew sofas there and a red carpet. A tent was pitched, a red carpet was laid, and the sofas were put in the tent for him to sit on top of dead bodies which were buried underneath by the cyclone. If you say this, in 1,000 years to come, people would wonder, people would ask themselves, what were the people of Zimbabwe doing that time? What were they saying? Why didn't they just ungana pana Mnangagwa otanga kumurova ari ipapo ari mutendimomo? Generations to come will ask these questions. Why Zimbabweans just watched Mnangagwa laying a red carpet on top of buried corpses, washed away by Cyclone Idai, flew a helicopter full of masofa, rather than flying that helicopter to pick up those who survived to take them to hospital. Instead, both bridges were destroyed, roads were destroyed, but they had gas to fly a helicopter full of masofa and set on top of buried corpses, buried dead bodies underneath. So we are going to be asked posthumously by the future generations what Shepherd Yuda was doing, what Miriam Chigwidi was doing, Kudzai Arnold, what were you doing about it? You guys went there, muchiombera maoko, muchiuzwa unzi tapuwa mari chaiyo na America, to show that he was not even confident with the money that is running his country. Hands apa muground nechikoro, pachikoro paive nemba yakatorwa nemvura kana kunyara. It's so pathetic. We are going to be asked posthumously, what have you done to stop Mnangagwa madness, to stop Chiwenga madness? Hanzi tutapuwa mari chaiyo na America. Saka aradza yese ari kupai muchinzitai zvakada haisi mari chaiyo, and you are being conned. So we are going to be asked, Skumile, children, grandchildren are going to ask us, what were these madalas doing? Mana Yuda maikochena musoro muchombera munhu akagara pamusoro pezvituna. So quite a lot of questions that we are not going to be able to answer posthumously. And today, if you look at political violence, it is the single biggest threat even to our elections, single biggest threat to our survival in South Africa. I don't call it xenophobia in South Africa. That is political violence. But if it was xenophobia, all South Africans would be involved. But it's only ANC supporters involved, being led by Dudula, the ANC youth. So this political violence as well, it will impact on South African elections. It will impact on our 2023 elections. Because ZANU-PF has failed to democratize our country. And they failed to implement a democratization process that would allow a free and fair election in our country, that would allow every Zimbabwean to participate in our country. Vanhu vari muZimbabwe vanotosha kuenda kunovhota hanzi tinorohwa. Vanhu vari kumaruwa vanotosha kuenda kunovhota hanzi tinorawa. Vanhu vari muSouth Africa vanotosha kuenda kubasa hanzi tikuurawa. Vanhu vakazvivharira mudzimba kutaura kwandiri kuita kuSouth Africa. Vari kupona nechingwa nemazoe nemvura. Dzimba dzavakazvivharira dzoda rent. For you to pay rent, you need to go and work. South Africans are not going to accommodate you for free. And they say, because you can't work, you're going to be driven out of those houses. Definitely, this is too much, Mangwenya. This is too much. ZANU-PF has surpassed the brutality of white Rhodesians. ANC has surpassed the brutality of the apartheid in South Africa. Vana PW both are avana kubva pisa vanhu like what we are seeing in South Africa. Avana andambona during apartheid taivepo taizviona. Apartheid yakaitwa tichiona kai. We saw half of the apartheid. We saw it before South Africa gained independence. And one. Ukada kuziva much about what was happening in apartheid. Verenga book rakanzi down, rakanzi chikorera rakaita ku literature. The Mara bastard. You guys, ranzi down second. Ranzi chiko book ra ndakurikanga no man. What was that book called? Down Second Street. Imi book ratakaita rakanyorwa ranzi ku Mara bastard, mara takaita ku literature. Form 3, Form 4. Down Second Avenue. What is you? Down what? I've forgotten about the topic of that book. That literature about South Africa. Mara bastard. Mkoma Raymond. How do we come together as Zimbabweans when we've got people like Thokozani Kupi, when we've got people like Douglas Monzo, down Second Avenue? Yes, Miriam, thank you so much. Munagaita literature akaverenga book rakanzi Down Second Avenue. Ndakariita pa literature in kuchikoro. You can understand how apartheid was being applied by the South Africans. PW declared, bother. If you read Zirimomo, South Africans today, ku South Africa wachifamba unongobatwa pahuro, apana munhu anomhanyira kuno kununura Rivonia. Hakuna munhu anokununura muSouth Africa, hakuna. Unobatwa pahuro sechotorwa chikwama torwa phone zvatopera. Uchizvifambira kana wakabata phone yako, munhu anokuenda kugotsi kwako kubva kuti bara mugotsi. Ototora chi yarakanyorwa Ezekiel Mpahleri, Down Second Avenue. And this was that's the spelling Mpahleri. Yeah, it was written by Ezekiel Mpahleri, Down Second Avenue. Ndakaita Down Second Avenue. Ndikaita The Lion and the Jewel by Wallace Soyinka. Ndikaita rakanyorwa na Charles Dickens rere Rana Pig. And the Rana Pig rere ndomabhuku andakaita ku literature. Anateta alisi zviri kumusha kwedu zvorwadza guys. Sunday pane mukadzi akafa cause of the poor roads. Nhasi umwe abarira panze pachipatara pamaruzevha ikoko. Ndarwadziwa nemukadzi akafa neambulance. Ambulance aendeswa kuchipatara nenhumbu. Ambulance ibva yabheuka achibva afa. Animal farm ndakangoriverenga handina kuriita. Shaka the Zulu, blood so cruel, genetic curse. So you see, ladies and gentlemen, for 4 decades, Zimbabweans have been under this brutal government. And when we thought Tawana, the Lion and the Jewel review. No shame, CD. The Lion and the Jewel. That's what this true pot says to defy Wole Soyinka. So, for 4 decades, only one ambulance. And that ambulance was involved in an accident and killed a patient. Mnangagwa. Imagine either transfer to a different hospital. Then they say, I don't know. Guys, can you vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? That is my question. Can you guys vote for president? If you vote for me, when I'm saying, can you guys vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? I mean, can you vote Nelson Chamisa? By voting Nelson Chamisa, it's like voting Shepherd Judah. Can you guys vote Nelson Chamisa to be president of Zimbabwe? Or can you vote for me to be president of Zimbabwe? When you see Pagan's Nelson Chamisa, Urukona Pagan's Shepherd Judah. Do me a favor. Can we vote Nelson Chamisa to be president of Zimbabwe? Because we want all this to end. And maniraga naga madzangu ndanonoka kusvika pa life ngoma yuda murise Patson Chinyati zvirise 100%. Thank you Atete Miriam. By voting Nelson Chamisa is voting Shepherd Judah. Because President Chamisa chandinowadira ane an ear for every Zimbabwean. He has got an ear for every Zimbabwean. I think this South African government knows if Zimbabwe managed to change the ZANU government, he will be 100% times better. I heard Malema Julius saying, South Africans, mark my words, you are going to work for these Zimbabweans. Seguru manonoga kuwe. Andidimona. So Nkai, thank you, school. Nkai district has been left without an ambulance. Their only ambulance is overturned, killing a patient. So my question is, are you ready, Zimbabweans, for Shepherd Judah as the next president of Zimbabwe? Because if you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted Shepherd Judah. If you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted yourself. Nelson Chamisa has got an ear. This is why I'm saying, ask yourself, are Zimbabweans ready to vote for me as president of Zimbabwe? Because if Zimbabweans vote for Nelson Chamisa, they vote for Miriam Chigwidi. They vote for Ngoma Charles Mashongam. They voted for Flo Makombe. They voted for Smomo. Because Chamisa has got an ear for you and me. So every time when you go to people, ask them, are you ready to vote for me? When I'm asking you, are you ready to vote for me? I'm asking you, are you ready to vote for President Nelson Chamisa? A president with an ear, a listening president with an ear for every Zimbabwean. Because if you are seeing, we are losing life unnecessarily. Zimbabweans are dying unnecessarily. In South Africa, a bobo died in Zimbabwe. Asiri kurwara, arikumuka aswa chimbo mgutsi. Obatizwa opiswa nzimisa mwane. Murunzwa nyaya dzatutaura. All 4 decades in our country, we have been suffering. Property has been lost. A lot of people have been injured in Zimbabwe. The property that has been lost in Zimbabwe is of unknown value. Billions of dollars worth of property has been destroyed as a result of this political violence in our country, in South Africa. And the ones what Nkaya win one is ZANU. 24 Matabeleland rural constituencies. 20 of them are controlled by ZANU-PF. Hakuna road dziriko, hakuna zvipatara zviriko, hakuna ma-ambulance ariko. But they are expecting councils to do wonders when they are under control of July Moyo. So are you ready, guys? If you vote Nelson Chamisa, you have voted Shepherd Yuda, you have voted Skus Momo, Flo, Miriam, and all other Zimbabweans. You have voted for yourself. So ask yourself, are you ready to vote for yourself so that Chamisa becomes president of Zimbabwe? When Chamisa becomes president of Zimbabwe, I know he will give us, he will lend us an ear, as he is doing today, as he has done yesterday. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, Chamisa will continue to lend you an ear. Zvido zvevanhu zvina Chamisa. Because why ZANU-PF and ANC are intensifying violence against us? And we expect intensification of violence as we move towards 2023 elections. We have got a general election coming next year, ladies and gentlemen. In ZANU-PF, they are fighting their succession battles. We had our own succession battles in MDC, but because of the drama, we said no to it. Then we left. We left. ZANU-PF are still fighting. They have this succession battle. In ZANU-PF, they don't believe that Mnangagwa has succeeded Mugabe through the ZANU-PF constitution. And because of precedents in MDC, the same case is now being tabled before the courts. But unfortunately, Musengi, anenga arukubatwa nemabhora, vanenge vari kumudhonza nemabhora, so uda kuzvitana. Andimon. So disputes in ZANU-PF are not going to end. We have ended disputes in the CCC. We have solved the issue of legitimacy in our party. This is why you see, where we were deemed illegitimate, we said this is a drama. We don't want these dramas anymore. We are a serious political party that needs to wrestle the country from the stranglehold of a crocodile so that we develop Zimbabwe. This is why you see, we said no to dramas. Please, how are you big? Let us push for United Nations to come help us to have free and fair elections. The only way, Antios, we can have free and fair election is let Zimbabwe go on the day of voting to go and vote. Vanenge vapedza kuvota vai munoenda kumba monogeza modya motakura magumbezi enyu modzokera kupolling station. Nguva yekutanga kunzwa oda kutanga kunoverengwa kuye. Endai munorarapo mune magumbezi enyu. Ngaaverengwe maresults makamira muchiona. Mobvapo mapuwa maresults enyu. Makuziva kuti pano pabuda maresults akati. Ma-elections ayana nyaya Yuda. Kumaruzeva uko kunotoda ma-monitors ari vigilant. Yes. Ndosaka ndikutaura 2023 elections. I know kuti we expect a lot of violence. ZANU-PF will intensify violence. But when they intensify violence, tikarega kuvadzorera obvious tinokuvara. But tikavadzorera vanenge vakutoziva kuti we are not pushovers. There is no one who has got monopoly to violence. ZANU-PF cannot continue to use coercion power to silence the people of Zimbabwe. Because we will be fighting on the day of election. That will free Zimbabwe. Yes, Ngoma Chale. Nelson Chamisa is the only hope for the people of Zimbabwe today. Mark my words. Tomorrow you guys will be regretting kusiya ZANU-PF ichidondonga nyika zvakadai. Muchange maakutaura kuti naimi maripo vakatiratidza leader. Why didn't we go straight for Chamisa? Nyika yadirwa uchine mukaka, nyika yakutapira. vanhu havafanirwa kurara mavhotsi achiverengwa. Ndo zvatiri kutaura mukomapatiswa. Zviri nani kutoenda papooling station pacho yekuti apungwe makatarisa achiverengwa maresults muchipiwa muripo. Hands how far Africom. Africom is a military company. Inorama neZTN neCIO. Ndo iri kurana ZEC. But kune vari kuta take care of that. Eno ZEC yapererwa kana kuriga kwacho ndofunga kuchatambudza. Yapererwa ZEC. Chese chayaita chabuda. Chese chayaita chabuda. So what I'm saying is the good part of CCC is we said no to dramas. We said no to political disputes. We solved the issue of legitimacy. Who succeed Changirai? And we agreed as CCC that let Douglas Monzora succeed Changirai MDC Changirai. Isusu sekusiwa kwatakaita na Morgan Team Alliance. Uyu Douglas akati ini ndina trap ndapfeka boots dzatsvangirai ndikuda nealliance. Tikamutura neharvest house nemari. Tikamutova Monzora. Hapana chamusiri kuda torai tumboona. Saka isusu we removed ourselves from these dramas. We are now focusing on running Zimbabwe. We are a government in waiting. This is why I've said, are you ready to vote for yourself to become president of Zimbabwe? Are you ready to vote for Shepard Yuda to become president of Zimbabwe? Are you ready to vote Nelson Chamisa? Once you vote Shepard Yuda, you have voted Nelson Chamisa. So what I'm saying holistically is every Zimbabwean must vote Nelson Chamisa so that we end this cohesion of power, this brutality by ZANU-PF, the brutality by South Africa. The audio census ndaiwana atete Miriam. Ndaiwana audio census. Yekunzi kana pane vanhu 10, itaiti pane 15 panapa tuone 5 wekuzopa ma results. Obviously, they've started resorting to violence because they are using ANC to do violence against Zimbabweans. So they've already started intensifying violence. So the issue of political violence, even in South Africa, they are going to realize it. That the political violence on its own increase poverty. South Africans are reeling in poverty. If you go to South Africa today, you will see they are reeling in poverty. They don't want to go to school. They are reeling in poverty. Imagine South Africa, one of the richest countries in the world, first world country, where people still live mabini. Cheka mabini kuvakaimba gara munakto gara van Soweto. What is Soweto? You understand? And they blame Zimbabweans for their Soweto things. Why did Sinama drones for elections? One boy, I have to ask you, because honestly, we should sit down and buy those drones. And on. Why we don't have? Why it is in? Is it because we don't want to? We never chipped in for those drones, and there is no one who's coming to buy them for us. So my answer, my question still goes to you. Could you say it is in drones? And the Saga, those the answer, the question is the question just rebound. It rebounds to you. Why you almost now take a drone? Why Shepard do that now take a drone, right? The question still rebound to you. Because at now I why it's not I have to ask you. And the so South Africans or ANC and ZANU-PF must know that the suffering of the region, SADC region, increasing poverty in SADC region, the increasing of unemployment in SADC region is because of poor economic policies by ZANU-PF and the ANC. That policy would roll Zimbabweans, it will affect South Africa economy badly. South Africans, they go ban companies, loot companies, and those policies will affect or destroy South Africa. Ndosaka muruva Julius angaitaura kuti maZimbabweans amuri kudaya, you will follow them one day and you work for them. Andimona. Zvinondinetsa ndezvekuti even ANC have even stopped investigating the political violence. MuZimbabwe, they've never investigated political violence. Those with no IDs, can they use their birth certificate to register to vote? Because many people doesn't have IDs. Imagine the only country in the world where a person is born and can grow up without a national ID. Ndakazwa chinzi vari kurambidza driver's license kunovota. Create an official document road you can drive in their national roads, but ZANU-PF inenge ichikurambidza kushandisa passport kunovota. Andimona. Saka, it's all up to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's all up to you. Zimbabwe, it has been, especially Harare, Zimbabwe, has been a critical seat, Harare, with regard to international peace initiatives. All peace initiatives start in Harare. Elder, I want to ask, where are those police people coming from? Like those who stand to stop the rallies, are they Zimbabwean? How do they feel? Chiza, Mkoma Chiza. I think you watched the Motlhane Commission, where Jim Gunaga, a former Chipangano leader, said ZANU-PF youth would be issued with the police uniform, baton sticks, and so forth. Then they will go and beat up people. It rallies, disperse people. This is what, and he said, even when Tsvangirai was injured, this Takarova Tsvangirai, that's what he said. And ANC irikura ruzuro watema mu Africa. ANC, I don't think the ANC we have today is the same ANC that was run by Mdara Nelson. Ainzi Nelson ani Mdara wa ANC umsoro mchene. Takutowakanganwa Mandela. Takutomkanganwa Mandela uyo. Nenyaya dzezviri kuitika kuSouth Africa. Chaunogona kuverenga vanhu vasina zvitupa asi vachitadza kupa vanhu zvitupa, vari kuda kuvhota, anopinda chete mukomana. Ngati mukomana apinde varume. Andimona. Saka uri kuona kuti ukaenda kuSouth Africa, the issue of political history, the issue of political violence, ukaenda muZimbabwe, the issue of political violence, zvinhu zviri historic in these two countries. Political violence kunge yemuZimbabwe yakatanga even nguva dzehondo yechidhara chainzi Nelson Mandela. And ukatasa political violence muZimbabwe yakatanga kudhara muZimbabwe. The most marked period of political violence in our country was the ZANU-PF killing of the Matabeleland people in Matabeleland. That was the beginning of political violence in an independent Zimbabwe. When the colonial government left, I never thought that our black government would kill us in large numbers. I never thought that would happen in our country. And the Zimbabweans, we have failed to resist such killings. And if we start to resist that violence today, that means we will go into another struggle. And that if that struggle brings peace to our region or to our country, then we need to resist. Because we are no longer fighting the settlers. We are no longer fighting the settlers. We are fighting an oppressive black government that we should face head on and stop these unnecessary or wanton killings of innocent people in our country and the region. South Africa ANC must be told that if they continue whatever they continue, then they can be sanctioned There is no South African truck which can cross into Zimbabwe. There is no South African truck or a train that can cross into Botswana or Namibia or Angola. Because once they start doing that, let's sanction South Africa. Let's close our borders to them and see where they will sell their products. And in because whatever they are doing is so chaotic. We cannot expect this in 21st century, ladies and gentlemen. This must never be accepted in 21st century, where innocent civilians or innocent people are bludgeoned, killed for not having a passport. If SADC was serious about the region in South Africa, why can't we have one passport, a SADC passport? If SADC is a region of Africans being run by Africans, regardless of political party, SADC must have one passport. If you want to go to Angola, you need one passport. If you want to go to Mozambique, you just need one passport, a SADC passport. You don't need a Zimbabwean passport to travel on SADC. And South Africa was ticking time bomb. Wow. Because my luta mchino waka iko useless. And ukona ndofana wanaka sukuera ogara ma mansions awaka South Africa. Mana Grace Mugabe wani ma mansions in South Africa. Sanu PF ya luta chino waka iko. Zimbabwe I never mirror check Zambia own. Yes. But in Ripo Kamkoma Gilbert. In Ripo ini. I'm ready to work for Zimbabweans. Ndakambota ora ndikati vanhu vari muZimbabwe, vanhu vari muUK, we need to sit down to elect an ambassador, a refugee ambassador wedu, watinoforwarda kuenda kuUN to work for those people in the UK. Unoshamisika kunzwa kuti munhu akabva kuZimbabwe ari muUK haana mapepa. South Africa munhu akatiza kuZimbabwe ari muSouth Africa haana mapepa. We must have an office in the United Kingdom that document all Zimbabweans who are here, refugees here. Those who need help, we help them in this country. But should a proper structure, it's really political, that will assist every Zimbabwean. Because Zimbabwe, South Africa, like that an organization, in an ambassador to UN, I mirror my Zimbabweans. All right, my South Africans, my Zimbabweans, we negotiate with the South African government. We're going to Zimbabwe, my refugees, are in Zimbabwe. Do you know what? There are refugee camps in Zimbabwe. Vanatongo gara refugee camp yamunoona iri kuchipinge. Refugee camp iri muZimbabwe inogara vana veZimbabwe. I mean ma refugees vanobva kunyika dzakasiyana siyana. I think this is what is needed in South Africa. Kuti kana tiri muSouth Africa ko-createwa a refugee camp, South African government UN yovaka dzimba ikoko, location chairo. This area is for refugees. Kana uri a refugee, you are entitled for a property there and you are entitled for support. Tinosvika chete. Andiri muri kuona nyaya dzatiri kutaura. So if you look at the resistance that South Africans did during the apartheid, it was characterized by violence against the apartheid regime. If you go to Zimbabwe, the resistance during the struggle war was characterized by violence against the settler government in our country. So my blacks, Vaita resisted that. These were, and you reason well, but no one sees in this view. You are not a United Africa. That's the problem. Atete Miriam, it's Atina. My organizations are independent, which can push this. I am telling you, if we had independent organizations, we would be pushing for one passport. SADC. Our passport I found out uri DRC. And those passports were supposed to be printed at a central point. Zimbabwe no central point. You guys, you don't know how important Zimbabwe is. Ukaenda ku Southern Africa, Zimbabwe is the only country in SADC in a favorable weather, in a 4 seasons. Zimbabwe haipise like DRC or Malawi. Haitonhore zvekusnowa like vana South Africa. Zimbabwe in a favorable weather for any development that you want to do in the world. Saka, it is the center, or the Zimbabwe must be the hub of SADC economy. Apana nyika yekuti ukada kuenda ku Zambia, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. Ukada kuenda ku Mozambique uchibva Botswana, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. Ukada kuenda ku South Africa uchibva ku Zambia, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. If you are coming from Malawi to South Africa, the shortest distance is through Zimbabwe. So you must be the hub of SADC economy, as we were the hub of agricultural produce in that region. We were like the bread basket of that region. It's because of the centrality of Zimbabwe, the position it occupies naturally on the map. It makes it a very important country in the region. So go to my bank, my international bank, and the SADC bank, it must be built in Zimbabwe. The financial institution of SADC must be erected in Zimbabwe. South Africa must be claiming a lot of money saying they have Zimbabwe refugees. Exactly. Like what Zimbabwe does. It claims a large share. We've got refugees from Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, wherever. Vanenge vari kuma refugee camp, imwe yambenge iri kuwaterfalls, imwe iri kutongogara. Mozambicans aitomugara kutongogara kwe. Do you know every month or so vanenge vachipiwa mari neUnited Nations, mayusa vachienda vachinoshopa mara. Kwatoene marori akangazi UN refugees, UD maumba. Once we don't like yellow tie yamakapfeka iyo, I said taurako. So primitive, vana udenda mudende, anzi mudende, chonzi mudende, chimudara chimudende chachi. Ini said mabhazi atomira kurasa Western Zimbabwe kutita West Up. Zvinhu zvinorwadza izvozvo. Andi muri kuona. Saka we have got a problem yekuti we've got greedy governments. We have got these governments which oppress Africans. Masettlers chaicha vaive nani, vaitovaka zvipatara, vachivaka road, vachivaka madhamu, vachidiridza vanhu, vachiita sei matura achizara vanhu vachidya. Settlers were far much better than these African oppressive greed idiots. 42 years of independence. By now, unoziva kuti nekudzidza kwakaita maZimbabweans, we should have initiated SADC region kuti we must have one passport. MuEurope mayone one passport muno. European passport. Ukada kuenda ku Spain aubvunzwe. Hakuna visa raunoda. Why should we keep borders and visas? Hanzi ntongogara vanotorarama life iri better than ordinary Zimbabwe. Yes. And so this is the issue, ladies and gentlemen, that we are talking about. That we need to sit down as Zimbabweans. But time is flying. I don't know when are we going to sit down as Zimbabweans to say, okay, fine, let's have an organ that will engage the UN, an organ that will engage the SADC, and that same organ must engage SADC, must engage the UN. When we are engaging SADC, we talk issues of borders. Why are you allowing this? A Zambian could agare in Zimbabwe and a foreigner in Africa. Imagine. A Zimbabwean who got South Africa owns a foreigner in South Africa. That thing must end. It must end. If we can integrate the whole region into one country and have one president, Nelson Chamisa, I would welcome that. That's the problem we have. Welcome, Koma Kila Chirandu, Kudita, welcome. That's the problem we have at Chigwidi. What happens is, people like Shepherd Yuda with ideas, they have got no power. We are not in a decision-making board of an organization. Thanks, Mgomong. Thanks very much. Tagarwa yero Rurambizo Parliament. Yes, we used to have all levels. Makambri Jaya. That's true. So people with ideas do not have power. The ideas that we have, I've got ideas of bringing all the presidents of Africa or SADC on one table and start asking them, is your skin different from mine? Are your eyes different from me? So why are you maintaining the border? Why can't we have a common passport in SADC? A common passport. Aka produce ma passports munhu anotenga ma passports otenga mari yoendeswa ku SADC bank. We must have a SADC bank. Rekuti kana takuda mari nyika dzoda mari dzinoenda ku SADC bank unokwereta mari. You don't go to European bank. European bank is for Europeans. Tinenge tine regional bank. Rekuti ukatenga passport iyo ikaprintwa ukatenga mari inoenda ku regional bank. How many South Africans are there? Passport at $70, $70 US. How many Zimbabweans are there? And that bank will make money. Nyika dzino develop. And it mona. Nyika ino develop. Saka tine problem. Animona wana wakada sana Prince, as Prince Marenga. Anzi enda unorara every day on live. You don't have time with your family. Around this, I have time in a family. I mean that around the family yippee and it's not time now. Every day I'm live on Facebook for 2-3 hours. A day is got 24 hours. If I take 3 hours, I've got 21 hours with my family. I don't know which time he wants to give me with my family. I've got 21 hours with my family. Out of 24 hours, I just take 3 hours a day to engage the people of Zimbabwe. So these are useless people. Watashitaura vaive vekuti kana muri pachoto muchigara matare enyika ava munotendai munofudzora mbudzi wafana because haana chaari kutaura, haana chaanoziva. Every day God gave me 24 hours a day. But 24 hours a day akandipa 8 hours dzekushanda. 8 hours dzekushanda. And it pa 8 hours dzekushanda nosara ne 16 hours a day. Pa 16 hours a day ndotora 3 hours dzekuingenja nyika yangu chidiscussa Zimbabwe yangu. Ndosara nechi ne 13 hours. 13 hours idzodzo ndedzevana vangu nemukadzi wangu. So I've got more time with my kids, more time with my family than the time I have with the Zimbabweans. So I also need to give Zimbabweans time with me. I've got 13 hours that I spend with my family. As you don't, no, I need to teach him. I'm not answering him, but I am teaching him. I've got 13 hours with my family every single day. As wanoda kugudza time nemhuri yako pamwada ndiyo ile time ngambonipa mai vake nimboita time now. Prince imbonipa mai vako vanokuudza kuti baba vane time awo. Imbonipa mai vako vanokuudza kuti mudhara Yudha vane time. Imbonipa mai umboona vanobva vakuudza. It's nice pamwada undipa mai vake akandipa mai vake nimboita time now. Ndo panonyazoziva vanomuudza kuti mudhara ane time yako. Adiona, it's easy. Kana achifunga kuti hana time nemhuri yangu pa 13 hours ndotora 3 hours ndopa mai vake. Papa ndopano vanozomutaurira mai vake kuti hey, nondiurayisa mwanangu. Asibomaseka. Honestly, kana munhu achifunga kuti hauna time ka, ngaambokupa mhomzi wake. Nomboita 3 hours now. Every day, 3 hours. Ndoba wachazoudzwa chokwadi kuti mudhara ane time. Mudhara ane time. Because ndine 13 hours with my family. 13 hours. Ndine 3 hours yemazimbabweans. Adidwa. Prince ngonza mhomzi wako, unza isa number dza mhomzi wako apa. Ndowapa 3 hours. Ndotora 10 hours ndopa family yangu. Iwo ndopa 3 hours. Ukanona chia live, ndino apportiona, ndoita inonzi apportionment. I apportion my time. So much time with my Zimbabwean people, community. So much time with my family. So much time at school or so much time at work. And on. Saka ndine enough time, don't worry. Don't worry. Then you teach him via his mother. Exactly. I want him to learn from his from her mother. From his mother or her mother. I don't know the murume adomukadzi. Saka zvakanakira izvi. Mai vake ndo vanozomuudza manje kuti iyo ndara ane time yawo usamuteerere. This is why uchiona achispenda 3 hours talking to Zimbabweans. From there, otora 13 hours, otora 16 hours with his family. 8 hours kubasa. Saka usamutyira. And this is blend of time that I have. Saka usanyanya undityira. I can teach you how I have time with my family through your mom. I can tell you. To the baby, we are pano. That baby, we are pano, baby. Ukaona mai vake muroad kuti baby uya pano ne 3 hours newe. Kana aida kuenda kuhotera tonobhuka kuhotera. Ndita 3 hours naye. Anditi mona. So let's go. I'll ring your mom. I will have time with your mom. Don't worry. She will tell you that you done time. Sandichkira. So we were talking about violence in our country. Let's go back to our topic. Talking about violence in our country. My instances of political violence that have even invited sanctions to our country. Ndachinzwa hanzi mazano anga achitaura muparliament kuti diti haana right yekutaura nekuti akaunza masanctions. No, the problem with some ZANU-PF supporters is they have learned to normalize abnormal things. When we do normal things, when we tell them we want this as normal things, the unfortunate part is they lack understanding. Their lack of understanding is through incompetence. They are not competent enough to understand. Mentally, they are not competent even mentally to understand things. So if they see BT achinvitwa kuya to make some presentations, they don't see Mnangagwa going to Russia. We only saw Mnangagwa achidya keke paRussia, kuRussia. We saw Mnangagwa kuBelarus akagariswa mumba mechin'anga so achipuwa chinenge mbiya chayo nezvinhu amene chachine chakagara pasi president of Zimbabwe. But what they see is Tendai Biti being invited to make presentations in America. They don't see Mnangagwa achidya keke nemaRussians. They don't see Mnangagwa akagariswa pasi kuBelarus achipuwa zveun'anga zvo amene zvinhu zvaipiwa zvinenge zvechisatanist. They don't see that. I didn't want. Saka nyaya yatiri kutaura iyo is a very simple matter that incompetent ZANU-PF supporters and ZANU-PF leaders, they don't understand this. That the impact of their actions is what we are witnessing in South Africa. The impact of ZANU-PF actions is what we are witnessing in Zimbabwe. And this has been built for 42 years. This incompetence has gone for a long time with people noticing it but not taking action. So this is the time that we must stop the political violence. This is a major impediment to development of a country. So what does from 1980 kusvika nhasi, if you ask ZANU-PF people what they've done for the country, hapana. Zvipatara zvakangosiyiwa nemabhunu zvatinazvo nanhasi. They even failed kurepair road dzakasiyiwa nemabhunu. Andimona. What they are good at is looting, corruption, perpetrating violence against the innocent people of Zimbabwe. These Prince they are deployed to go and cause mayhem, to go and kill Zimbabweans, to go and harass Zimbabweans. These are merchants of violence that has destroyed our country to the extent that millions of Zimbabweans have left that country for greener pastures. Dr. Chaicha akachema musi wauya Mnangagwa achinzi atapuwa 100% increment apuwa 200 RTGs. Dr. akasvinha musodzi kuti increment yake yanga yabva pa $80 US to $120 US per mwedzi. Africa asvika muSouth Africa vanorinzero banga akadii kungogara hake kuZimbabwe kwaakafara kuti apuwa $120 US a month. Changa akuendera kuSouth Africa chi kana iye was so happy about the administration of Mnangagwa. Anditi muona. Saka munhu akatoona kuti Zimbabwe yacho haichagariki kupatisa Dr. Ukauya muno muUK muno tiri kuratidzai vamwe vaive mashefu nana prison, vaive mashefu kuarmy, vaive mashefu vatambudzwa nevamwe vacho nanhasi, but vakaitiza Zimbabwe vari muno muUK. Vari kungotsvairawo magaro echemberedza tiri kungotsvaira muno. Andimona. Tinavo vanhu vari kuti vakaenda kuhondo muZimbabwe, vakanorwa hondo, vaitaura kuti mabhunu vadzvanyiriri, asi vakatiza Zimbabwe vakateera vadzvanyiriri kuya kuzoshandira vadzvanyiriri varimo muno munyika muno. Umwe ndakatozosvika pakumutaura kuti chimbonyarara iwewe, wakatiza mabhunu ayo ndo amairova muchini maBritish vadzvanyiriri ndo amairova makuvateera wakuya kuzovashandira futi muno. Andimona. Asi ndiwo vaimhanya uchiti ZANU nguva dzehondo muchimhanya muchiti mabhunu vadzvanyiriri, saka wazoteera mudzvanyiriri anaka chinhasi. Saka takati chimbomirai kutaura zveZimbabwe. Vazhinji vacho vakaenda kuhome office mazano atiri kutaura kunoclaima mapepa tatiza ZANU-PF. Ukanzwa ZANU ichitaura kuti yakuisa masanctions, yakuiswa pamasanctions kuZimbabwe, most of the war veterans who ran away from Zimbabwe, who came to the UK and claimed asylum, they were saying all sorts of things to the Home Office. That when decisions to put Zimbabwe on sanctions were made, they were made by their claims. No, Mkoma, he wasn't happy. He was forced to say that. He was happy. Didn't you see him crying? Achibudisa misodzi yekufara. Akafara pa podium paya. Akasvina misodzi yekufara. Vanatsena ngamo vakati muroere maoko. Vanambwa vachiombera mazano. Anditi maona. Hello boy, big boy. You okay? Sure. That's my theory. Andi munhu nyadzi dzatutaura. Hansimbotidaidza veko honestly atete Alice zvitori nani kuti political victims ezano muye mutsvaire imimi pane perpetrators of violence. Most of perpetrators of violence in Zimbabwe, they fled that country. They are in the UK. Ndaidotaura hanchatauri ndikataura zita munobva matomuziva zita racho ndinaro panao. And that person akatraina unesi, I don't know kuti ndinesi chaiye here. Aimhanya nezano zvinotyisa. Aimhanya nezano zvinotyisa kuZimbabwe. Akauya muno muUK. That person. Akandikarega kumutaura vanhu vanofunga pamwe ndichazotaura munhu. Anonzi Moza Blaze ainzi set free. Ainzi anchazivi seneme yako ainzi set free ani. Ainzi set free ani that gentleman. aitaura zvezanu sereka ada zanu akatouya muno muuk ndakatomona palist revanhu vakauya ndakapuwa rimwe list randinaro reva pakatone list more zanu pf coming vamwe vari kuuya vachiti hanzi tiri mahealth care hanzi health and social worker hamene zvemacertificates zvavari kupuwa zvered cross. That guy ain't set free ani that gentleman ain't set free ani sinemi yake ndikaifunga. I will tell you ndakamona pane rimwe list so ndakarwa nehana ndika ha vakutiza Zimbabwe ava kutiza Zimbabwe ava ndikadai home office yaiziva vanhu vairi kupinza muuk I don't think they were gonna be granted asylum or be allowed to work in this country. Perpetrators of violence are allowed to work in this country. And ndiro kutaurirai kuti vanhu vaiva maiona vaipisira vanhu misha vachipisira vanhu dzimba vachirova vanhu they are here in the UK. I think ndo vanhu vakasimasha motikari yangu andi murikona but ndo zvandakataura muchiruziva gore riya riya ndaudzwa naBrighton Musonza vakanzwa kuuraya muuk vanhu vakanoenda anoripotera Brighton Musonza asungwe ndikati aiwa guys our purpose in this country is not to destroy ainzani exactly set free Mafukidzi exactly he's now a practicing nurse in this country muuk ukabo aneneka ndanombotsvaga kana vanoziva kwaari vane nhamba dzake mumbondipa ndimbomuinterview ndimbomubvunza kuti bambo maamuno muuk mauya kuzotsvangura chemberedza maitaura idzi kuti hanzi vana Shepard vana Yudha vanani muri kupisika chembere kuuk makuzipisika chemberedzi guys ndakatoona list racho ndikaripiwa list racho ndichazokuudzai mamwe manames evanhu varipo vamwe vacho vari kuya via Scotland kune agency iri kuScotland iri kuvaunza guys mukanzwa tichitaura kuti ZANU-PF is incompetent cannot run a country vana set free Mafukidzi vana votiza ava kuuya hanzi ndinesi muno muuk tikati tisoda edu musimudzira mhepo regai ashandire mhuri yake tikamusimudzira mhepo even chipatara chakamuemploya chai muno makadzingwa doctor muno aiita zvezano aiti ZANU-PF vamazimba vakanomuimbira akatuta akaenda doctor chiremba akarova pasi muno hama yaGrace Mugabe yakarova pasi muno saka vana set free avakauya manesi manesi taura kuti pamwe ari pashift izvozvo ari kuwana pound but takataura no haisi time hatidi kukuvadzirana upenyu kutiza kutotizawo kuomerwa neupenyu muZimbabwe kutouya vana set free avo kuti vazoshanda vapisikewo chembere dzavaituka kuti vanhu vari diaspora munopisika chembere andimaona saka muregei aite life yake achengetewo vana vake amboona kuti zvatotaura zviya it's not a joke tenge chinotaura kuti vana Mnangagwa vakabva vazanu ikabva Zimbabwe inenge yakutoemployawo manurses like this muchitowanawo mapounds iwaya but mairambidza kuti nyika isununguke nhasi uno maamunhu ana set free maakubvisa mapamba aya imboimagina uchipinda mukeho uchidaidzirwa nechembere kunzi namama ndaifunga ndakamboenda kuParirenyatwa hospital nemumwe musungwa so musungwa yeye anga ari so stubborn that guy anga ari so stubborn tasvika kuchipatara saka ndakamusungirira neleg iron kumubhedha ndo mutemo wacho anenge akasungirwa nemaleg irons kumubhedha nesimbi kumubhedha saka akandibva nditi ndizvekumuka shefu handisikuda ndikati ndavasvanza ndira kumama but kundimuke ndiende kutoilet apa ndiende masimba ya makandisunga nawo ndiri ngwenjere handisikuda ndobva anyepedzera kunge akotsira so ndakazonzwa akudaidza manje nasi manesi akati kwakanaka here zvikazi ndamama rainofunga nejoku manesi kutosvika sokumvura gumbezo akaita hipi mukondo wedhodhi pamubhedha indakabva nakosima manesi kuti mukosha musunungureni kana handibvumirwe nemutemo imimi ngomuwaipai chete zviriko kuzimbabwe izvo mari ndo inosiyana chete mari ishoma asi zviriko zvatinongodaidzirwa muno nemachembere munoona hey come here man come I've got a big pool zviriko kuzimbabwe izvozvizvo mbana yemba ndiye ndakati aizanesi no mama andimona saka nyaya dzati kutaura panapa zvese izvi zvinouya ne-incompetence of leaders. We don't have competent leaders. Mwari vakatiradza a leader in the form of Nelson Chamisa. So let's thrust him there. Because zvinhu zvina Mwari mukati hapana pazvinoregera kuita sei kubudirira. Zvinhu zvaMwari zvinobudirira. Because ukada kuona kuti zvine violence iri kuitika muZimbabwe. As we go kuma elections kunongoitika violence. Mapurisa avasunga vanhu vacho vata violence. Vanhu vacho ma-champion of violence ivava ndo vakuita hanzi madegree emanesi vakuuya muUK muno. Zvikabuda zvikazikanwa unzi human rights abuser. Muno maakuuya kuzoshanda nema patients muno. Kana NHS yacho inomiswa. NMC yacho yaikamurejista kana zvoburiswa zvaaita ari kuZimbabwe. Aidai muno. Vanobva vatomudzinga basi. Vanobva vatomudzinga vatomudeport. But hazvina kunaka. Ndosaka taitaura kuti guys, kunyange uri weZANU-PF, kunyange uri weCCC ro MDC, this is just politics dzekuti tikuda kuti nyika yedu inake. Izvenyu zvekuya muchitidimbura musoro muchitiuraya muchitiita sei izvi imbozvimira izvi. Stop harassing people on political grounds. Because mangwana, you never know where you end up in. This country is not our home. Mangwana anogona kubhanduliwa swa mndege wakuenda kuZimbabwe. And this is not our home. Saka ngatigadzirisei situation yekumba kwedu. Kuti Zimbabwe kana yanaka kana ukasimudzwa kanzi pinda mundege uende, unongonosvika in a safe environment and continue to work for your family. Vanhu vacho vaiti ZANU vacho ndo vakatiza ZANU ndo vari muno. Ukawaenda kumusangano weZANU unoseka. Kune chimpana chekutengera ED whisky cheche. Chodzani chimpana cheche hanzi. Ame chakushanda chinenge chakaitwa kusine job center chakushanda ku chasikashanda chachingo chimkuku chenyonzi mkuku cheche. Amene kwa chakushanda kunana railways. Kwa changotsvaira njanji. Bloom zviri sei mwana wa. Atotaliswa seka. Nes. Na mama. Nda mama. Saka nyaya yati kutaura iyoyo yakaoma. Inyaya yekuziva kuti when we are in politics, tine pambo tinofana kuengage in a civil way. Civility counts in politics. Barbarism or barbaric way of behaving when you are in politics, ideally. So we are battling ZANU-PF because of incompetence. We need to replace ZANU-PF with a competent political party. Today we have got CCC. Ukada kutarisa vanhu vari muCCC nevanhu vari kuZANU-PF, newega unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ukada kutarisa vaMnangagwa navaChamisa, wega unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ukada kutarisa youth yekuCCC neyouth yekuZANU-PF, wega unotoona kuti who should run the country. Ungataura here kuti chizunguzurwa che chinonzi Gomwe Godfrey chaje ungachipa nyika kutonga che kana kuchiti leader ma-youth aya. Can you compare Chigomwe cheche nana Obey? Can you compare Chinamasa na Ostalos kana na Maere? Wega unotoona kuti zvinoramba kuita. You can't compare those other people are incompetent. Chinamasa akaenda kunovhura escape bin. I'm happy kuti dai ndikasangana na set free. Ndimuratidze kuti escape bin muUK roshandiswa chii. kandamuratidza iskipi bini muuk obva afonera chinamasa ndiripo mndu mudhara zvataikusapotai muchinovhura muchikanda mabhanana asi zvemabhanana zvezvi yuda ndaiudza masouth africans vanoshanda navo kuti kurwisa vanhu it's not a solution hauzivi kuchave mangwana exactly vana set free vanzi vakaita nesing vamunomu vakushanda vachipisika chembere ende chembere mumakeo dzinenge zichiita big pool kudai unoritakura chete iro riya ndakatoti coronavirus yakanaka yakava nezvekuvhara munhu dhara unonge uchirifema duzvi vakuru chiritakura uchienda naro avaiseka kuti munoita basa rekupisika chembere is getting his money now yopa achaona kuti uk yatuka iyai ndine dzimwe black dzakangochansawo pakaitika zvebhora zvenobva dzapinda muuk ndakazwa dzakutaura mumwe musi zvikanzi unoziva kuti zvatotaura tiri kuzimbabwe zvezve takapfeka makwamba zveuniform mabritish imbwa dzevanhu handiri muno muuk now I can see some change. Why is it mabritish havataure nezvezimbabwe the way Zimbabwe talks about Britain? Zvikanzi I have been everywhere here asana mbozwa mabritish achitaura about Zimbabwe the way we talk kuzimbabwe every corner yaunoenda mabritish akazodimbwa dzevanhu mabritish maimperialist kungosimudza musoro mabritish maimperialist hanzi munomu handisati azvinzwa zvitaurwa muzimbabwe yakazodai zimbabwe yakadai saka tiri kungozvitirabhula nevanhu vasina basa nesu ndikati mudhara ava vanhu ava vane nyika ine 68 million people they are not even concerned about nyika ine 12 million people they would rather concentrate on feeding their people ndosaka vachiona vachiita research and development in this country finding means and ways of feeding their population. Imimi hamuna way or means of feeding your population. Mune way and means yekungotarisa kuti zvizviri kuitwa neBritain andimona ndosaka vachiona maBritish mune maBritish asingazive kuti kuZimbabwe ndekupi. Ndaishanda nemumwe musikana wandakaenda unoticha last week wandaitaura naye ndikamuti have you ever been to Africa? Zvikanzi no. Do you know where Zimbabwe is? Zvikanzi no. Mundu nevanhu vasingazivi kuti Zimbabwe iri kupi. Asi ukanobvunza muZimbabwe chero kaenda kuruzeva kuti Britain iri kupi anokuudza kwairi. Potse nekuti unongedzera direction kuti uko ndo kune Britain. But mune maBritish who doesn't even know where Zimbabwe is. Akakubvunza where do you come from Shepherd? What is Zimbabwe? Where is Zimbabwe? Mune maBritish asingazivi kuti Zimbabwe iri kupi. Muno. They don't care about you. Ndakamuti auende kumaholiday kuAfrica zvikanzi when I'm going to holiday ndoenda kuna Spain, Cambodia, kupi. There are better scenarios to see. Takaudzwa nhema ndo chokwadi mukomapatiso andimona. Saka tine problem yekuti tikasagadzirisa ipapa hakuna kwatiri kuenda nenyika. Saka manzwa zvandakuchikumbiro changu kwana veZimbabwe. Ndiri kukumbira kuti vana asset free kana vachizvinzwa obvious vandozvinzwa. Taurirai Mnangagwa atumire mabhazi aende kuSouth Africa kunotora maSouth Africans kunotora vana veZimbabwe. Ndakazwa vaZANU-PF vachiti anotoda kuvheta vanhu vacho vari kuuya ndikati hauvhete muZimbabwe. The first thing is safety of a Zimbabwean face. Hausi ndo wakamuendesa ikoko. Anditi. But there is a crisis now that needs government to government intervention. ZANU-PF government cannot intervene because havasitoda kuti vanhu vauye. Saka what we are urging Mnangagwa is stop taking those buses kunotakura vanhu vachienda kuRarare. That will never increase votes for you. Because ZANU-PF has done this for every election. But number votes avo imboendai mutarise results elections 1980, 85, 90, 95, 2000, 2002, 2008, 2013, 2018. These 10 elections. Muone kuti pane pakawedzera ZANU-PF vanhu here nekuti vaita busy vanhu nemabhasi. Dai pasina rigging handifoti ZANU-PF yaiwana kana kuti 1 million votes for my elections. Hakuna inachainowana here. Saka it's not going to change anything. It's not going to improve their standing to the people of Zimbabwe. And their record for the past 43 years has ruined their chances of running that country.
I said to remind you that it's Thursday tomorrow.
Want me to call it?
No, Mom said you have to Mom said I have to remind you that it's Thursday tomorrow.
It's what?
Thursday tomorrow.
Oh, all right, that's fine. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Ruby. Tomorrow is Thursday. Sagarga indite log off. Tosangana mangwana after week 9. Anzi msakangana uri muri kumukira kubasa. Ndatenda zvangu. Morala zvakanaka. Mpana anonzi Prince uya. Kanda namba yamai vako ku inbox kwangu. Anzi vari kushika massive loose next year. Mpana anonzi Prince uya. Kanda namba yamai. Na monza wari no muike.
Na uzacho.
Akuti
mimanzi yacho. DJ Bufu